Well, today here at Pukekohe, the title is on the line, and this is where they could decide it. 2.82 kilometres, 265 k's an hour down the back straight. That's your top speed. SKAIFE has the lap record set last year. We count them as 7 turns.
And this is a thoroughly enjoyable circuit, and the man that I feel is best qualified to take us on a hot lap round here is the guy that's been virtually unbeatable at this racetrack, Greg Murphy. 245 k's into turn 1, 5th gear. Ripple strip on the right. There's the troublesome tyres at 2. Back to 2nd gear for turn 3, awkwardly shaped. Easy on the throttle coming out of there. 4th, 5th, 6th, building with the 3.5 diff to just under 270 k's. Listen for the limiter. Massive brake at the end. The car pitches forward, 700-degree front rotor temperature. 2nd gear, 60 k's at the hairpin. Again, gentle on the throttle. 3rd, 4th, and now building up for this sensational ride. Little change of the anti-roll bar. Huge bump, another huge bump. Flip-flop the car to the right and across the top of the hill, just over 200 k's, and then accelerating back to 240 clicks. Greg Murphy with a sensational lap of Pukekohe.
The Nokia N-Gage hot seat with the man who's unbeaten overall here at Pukekohe, Greg Murphy. And when you take a scan around a very, very big crowd here this morning, you'll see that it is effectively mostly red. And then when you go a little bit further in, you'll see that it's effectively mostly 51. They absolutely love Murphy here. He's been the star since they came here in 1996 for a non-championship round. As I mentioned, 2001, 2002, he was the overall winner. And in 2003, he's on his way again. He'll start from P1 for race 2 this afternoon, the second race of our weekend, 150 k's. Todd Kelly alongside him, Tander in 3rd position, Jason Bargwanna in 4th. So it's a little bit of different kind of starting grid that we've seen all year. There's some movers and shakers up there that are starting to get their act together towards the rear end of the season. Good effort in race 1 from Stephen Ellery, qualified 20th, finished in 9th. Stephen Johnson had his problems yesterday. They seem to have sorted it out because he was on the pace in the warm-up this morning. Paul Morris down there. You move through to Max Wilson, who, remember, was right in the thick of it at the first turn yesterday. Now he finds himself midfield. Bradley Jones in 22, Jason Bright in 21. Moved down through the field. David Bernard in 25, David Thexton from 26. Now we're going to have 30 starters because this morning Mark Noske has had to pull out after that accident yesterday. And remember, Jason Richards didn't make the starting grid after a big off in the practice session on Friday. There's Russell Ingall. You heard Rusty say that Stephen Richards, who's alongside Russell, if push comes to shove, will let Russell go. Russell is 4th in the championship picture. SKAIFE is 3rd, Murphy is 2nd overall, and Ambrose is 1st, our championship leader. But as far as the grid goes, on the left-hand side of your screen is Greg Murphy. He didn't get a good start yesterday in the icy conditions. Well, today he's going to go hammer and tong with Todd Kelly right down to turn 1. Garth Tander stays out of the picture, a lot cleaner than yesterday's atrocious conditions and appalling start in the end. Greg Murphy goes through clearly into turn 4.
This is very difficult through 2 and 3 just because of the shape of the road, the width of the track and the opportunities there on cold tyres. But I think the 30-car field snuck through. Murphy strong in the opening couple of corners, and he's pulled out a reasonable gap on the way to the braking run. Kelly was smart. He decided, instead of arguing on the outside, to just slot down into 2nd and not make himself vulnerable to Tander. Lock of a brake for car 2 at the right-hander. Aggravation here as Ambrose and SKAIFE argue over real estate, which sends SKAIFE onto the green stuff on the exit of 5.
Rick Kelly pulls up alongside SKAIFE as they go into the final turn. These two were involved in a bit of a dogfight yesterday that didn't leave Mark SKAIFE a happy man. Michelle Helix Racer goes down on the outside. That is Stephen Johnson.
He's going to drop a spot to Stephen here after that.
Murphy goes through in 1st position. Kelly holds down 2nd. Tander and Bargwanna 3rd and 4th. Radicic 5th. Ambrose 6th. Rick Kelly is in 7th. So Rick has moved up 1 and SKAIFE has gone down 1. SKAIFE, in fact, has gone down 2 with Johnson in front of him.
Replay of what I think was a touch between these two. It was only very light contact, but Rick Kelly not doing Mark SKAIFE any championship favours, hanging him out to dry on the last corner.
Perfect conditions. Beautiful day for racing. A lot better day than yesterday, and the result is right there in front of us. They're still going around. Just yesterday, they didn't even make the first lap. Greg Murphy on your PlayStation 2 race score has a 1.2 second lead now over Todd Kelly. They had some problems in the Shell Helix car number 17 yesterday. Exactly the same mechanical problems as they had at Bathurst, and Stephen Johnson once again found himself out of the cockpit and under the hood looking for the drama. They seem to have sorted it out, and as I mentioned, Junior was on the pace this morning in the warm-up, but Max Wilson, I think he's got a few problems.
Some people will come in now. The pit window will open. It's between 2 and 38, as you said in the pre-race synopsis. So some people, if they feel that they're bottled up in traffic, will get out of this now to try and find clean racing air.
We're keeping a strong focus on this man, Marcus Ambrose.
SKAIFE trying to find a way through on the Shell car. Rick Kelly in front. This is the final turn. Fantastic bit of road. 5th gear. Actually, SKAIFE was in 4th then, grabs 5th, then 6th halfway down the straight. It's a funny place. I mentioned in the hot seat that they use the middle available diff ratio of 3.5. The car's run out of breath down the back straight, and there's a couple of spots. This is one of them where you could go either way, either 2nd gear or 3rd. 2nd's a bit short, 3rd's a bit tall, and it's the same coming onto the front straight. You could either go with 4th or 5th, depending on the way in which your car's behaving. You can see cars peeling in, including McConville, Wilson. Greg?
Well, hopefully this will be a good stop for Max Wilson down here in the Dick Johnson Racing Team. Despite that off yesterday, there is some good confidence in this pit about the car speed improvements since Bathurst with both 18 and 17.
They'd be pretty happy with the fact that Max had the car up there, but disappointing for them to end up buried in the field at the end of yesterday's wet race. Their car's certainly been a better machine in the last couple of races.
Here comes SKAIFE, so he's in early.
1.7 second lead at the moment for Murphy. SKAIFE's decided that the traffic's annoying. Get out of it, take the service, do it now. Get onto the other set of tyres.
Started from position number 2 yesterday and ended up 7th, mowing his way through the field in the end. Now, he zigzags his way into the final pit bay. Daryl Beattie.
Yeah, just watching Mark SKAIFE's pit stop down here. This crew, everything went well. Nice, quick stop. Now Marcus Ambrose's team here now waiting for him to enter pit lane.
That was very, very smooth.
Yeah, that was a ripper, wasn't it? Looked like it was clockwork. Now cold tyres light up the bags as SKAIFE comes out. He's got a completely clear track, so he'll go ballistic now. He had a very quick car yesterday, the fastest car on the road in the wet, and he's got clear track now to deal with. Marcus will be in on the next lap. He's bottled up in traffic. This is a track where horsepower is critical. 50% of the lap is spent at 100% throttle. This is some aggravation here.
Yeah, Todd Kelly side by side with Dean Canto up the back straight.
He's not happy about it. Going to be on the wrong side of the road when they get up to the hairpin here.
That's through the kink. Now to the hairpin. Down around 60 k's an hour. Russell Ingall is in. Garth Tanderby's into that one as well.
Wheels that.
So Stone Brothers Racing have completed Russell Ingall's stop. Mark SKAIFE is in for HRT, in and out. And Todd Kelly has one car in front of him at the moment, and it's Greg Murphy, 2.4 seconds down the road.
That's a good margin, isn't it? He's opened it up a little bit further. In fact, after that traffic interruption for Kelly, it's out to 3.9, 57.85 on the last lap for Murphy. Everybody else is in the 58s or 59s, so the clear air is proving valuable for him. SKAIFE will be the one to watch once he gets full temperature in the tyres because he's got clear track. Ambrose in. Daryl.
Marcus has been in. There's quite a few turns, Neil, on that roll centre adjustment. It looks like there's a bit of trouble going on at the left front of the car. Ingall's stop was clean. No adjustment to the roll centre, but Ambrose did. Slow stop.
Yeah, that was a snaggy stop for those guys.
You're either on it or you aren't in pit lane on some days. They were right on the money in Surfers Paradise. It's just amazing, Neil, how much professionalism has risen in pit lane. Mark SKAIFE, 57.57. Fastest man out there on lap 6. As predicted, he will go berserk. Clear road, fresh tyres, and times eating away. Greg Rust?
Just to update you on the Ambrose scenario there, while he came in with that lengthy stop, John Bowe arrived in pit lane behind him, but he left in front of him, so Bowe was able to leapfrog Ambrose in pit lane. Stop here for Paul Radicic, and he's away.
So the order at the moment is Murphy, Todd Kelly, Garth Tander. You can see there that Dean Canto is behind Tander. Canto has already done his pit stop. 57.44 now for SKAIFE.
Yeah. Murphy's in. Todd Kelly's in. So Murphy had good margin. Tander's the new race leader from Bargwana. Rick Kelly. Stephen Ellery in 4th. Not a bad recovery after their horrid weekend on the Gold Coast. A lot of fuel carried for this race. Darryl mentioned that at the top of the show. 100 litres odd fuel, so it's a heavy load. The cars will be lazy. Darryl.
Yes, down here with Greg Murphy, the stop, everything clean. Nice stop for Greg, good stop. Also updating that stop with Ingle and Ambrose. Ingle's stop was 5.8 seconds, Ambrose was 14.3.
The order's going to come out exactly the same. Murphy gets out in front of Todd Kelly.
But the margin's a bit tighter than it was, so someone's had a better in.
And who comes out? Here we go, Mark SKAIFE comes out and goes straight past Todd Kelly. So now SKAIFE has Greg Murphy, the race leader, in his sights. These guys have now both done their compulsory pit stops, and so too has Todd Kelly. But remember, SKAIFE is on warmer tyres.
Correct. That's the
position now. You've got to be smart now. It's a long race.
Not a bad recovery from 7th, and when you consider that thing was backed up in the wall at turn 3 on lap 1 yesterday. So no substitute for good car speed, and SKAIFE's been able to hammer it home, and he's right in the vortices of the Murphy car as they head up towards the hairpin.
And look at the traffic facing Marcus Ambrose. Look at the view from the cockpit, the SBR car. They're 3 wide in front of him.
This is all a bit crazy here. Ellery's come out on cold tyres, and there's just trouble brewing big time in all this. Wills, Bowe, Ellery
is on cold tyres.
Oh, there goes Stephen Ellery right up close to the number 4, Pertec Ford. A warning to Marcus Ambrose from his crew. Stephen Ellery, cold tyres. John Bowe's in front of him. Now Ellery slots back in between Ambrose and Ingle. Simon Wills is in there. Rick Kelly's in it as well. There's 6, 7 cars involved in this. They've finally straightened themselves out.
It's a disaster for Ambrose to be mixed up in the middle of this, and the shaking clear of any of this for the next half an hour will be a challenge, I'll tell you.
And in the meantime, Greg Murphy and Mark SKAIFE at the top of the list are going quite fine, thank you very much. And Mark SKAIFE is going very fine in terms of times. Look at the last 4 lap times there, and you can see SKAIFE with 4 green boxes next to his name is eating into the times of Greg Murphy. But Murphy will be cycling up on his tyres now.
If you want to figure out how much that bad stop cost Ambrose, look at Ellery up the inside here of Ambrose, then look where the car 4 is relative to that front pack. That shot at the end of the back straight graphically showed the physical distance between the cars. It's massive. The leaders are working the exit of turn 1 as these guys are just coming on to the front straight.
8 guys yet to come in for their pit stop. So Glenn Seaton is effectively the leader on the road. Then it's Bright, Morris, Stephen Richards, David Bernard, Paul Dumbrell, Jamie Whincup, and Anthony Tratt. What a shot! Those guys yet to pit. So Greg Murphy, who is the top of the list as far as the guys who have come in and completed their stops, he's our race leader. He's Russell Ingle.
Murphy, SKAIFE and Kelly are the only 3 in the 57s at the moment. 57.8 for Murphy, 7.4 for SKAIFE, 7.9 for Kelly.
And I think Garth Tander, a little bit further up the road from these guys, is also posting a few good times as well. Glenn Seaton's come in for his stop. guess the main job here for Marcus Ambrose is to stay out of trouble. Behind him, Russell Ingall can keep a bit of a brief. There's car 5, so...
Cito's on cold tyres.
Yeah, Cito's been in and out.
And he's going to split the SBR cars. Depends how much he's got under brakes at the end of the back straight here, but he may be able to maintain that position if they temp up and pressure up quickly enough. He's got a little margin on Ingall at the moment. Meanwhile, Ellery's starting to sweat pretty hard with Bauer looking up the inside there. Seaton will hold position as they move to the right-hand side of the road in the hairpin. Marcus's car's not coming off that hairpin well either. Bright's the race leader at the moment from Morris, Stephen Richards, Paul Dumbrell, Jamie Whincup and Anthony Tratt. They yet to stop. Murphy's the effective leader of the motor race, and he's got Mark SKAIFE right on his tail.
Todd Kelly's joined into that as well, but the man further back, Paul Radicic, is about 9 seconds off the rear of Todd Kelly. So Murphy, SKAIFE and Todd Kelly are out there doing it on their own at the moment. This little battle group continues to swap places, swap a little bit of paint. And they're all, of course, trying to swap positions. The PlayStation 2 race score with the zeros in the blue boxes indicates no pit stop for those top 6 guys on the road. So Greg Murphy with 1. He is effectively our race leader. Then SKAIFE and Kelly, Radicic, Tander and Bargwanna. Garth Tander and Jason Bargwanna holding their starting positions. Team Dynamic car number 44, which is in front of Stephen Ellery, a 1-car team this weekend. Couldn't piece together car 45 after Jason Richards' spectacular exit during practice.
Rear bumper looked like it was loose on, I think, Bradley Jones' Aussie Mail car. Not sure, there was a shot there before it looked like it had been semi-dislodged.
That's normally JB's trick, isn't it?
Yeah, Oran Park. Stephen Ellery tucked in behind Simon Wills. And the Team Dynamic World Industries car of Wills is the older of the cars. Remember, they ran a brand new car at Bathurst. Simon's defensive on the dirty part of the track here as they go up to the hairpin. Oh, and he's left a little gap right at the critical time, and it was enough incentive for Stephen to have a look. The two of them got through there.
The Super Cheap Auto team, their ups and downs. The 29-year-old Queenslander now for Stephen Ellery. Second at Sandown, third at Bathurst. All came apart courtesy of turns 9 and 10, I think it was, at Indy, where he ended up turn 10 on the Saturday and turn 9 on Sunday. So replay of this incident. So Stephen Ellery, Simon Wills at the hairpin. Ellery gets 2 into the dirt on the right.
It's good work from both of them not to end up touching there. Now they go for a repeat bout. Those in the 57s. Oh, here he comes. This time he's got it. And Simon sees him coming and just makes space, which is probably a good decision. 57s include Murphy, 57.8, SKAIFE, 57.4, Kelly, 57.9.
Just looking at that gap for Paul Radicic, who's effectively in 4th position. It's gone back another second, so Murphy, SKAIFE and Kelly continue to pull away at the front. Here's John Bauer, car 888. Behind him is Marcus Ambrose. In the warm-up this morning, Marcus, 57.6, put him 15th on the list. And John Bauer, 57.5, put him 10th on the list.
There's some cars out there when you look down through the lap speed, Matthew, that are really beginning to struggle, and this place is notorious for murdering the left rear tyre. You can see he's just never-ending right-handers, big load, and the 2 hairpin-shaped style corners where traction is a real issue, gives them a real bad time. So you've really got to manage that carefully. Look how tight this margin is now between 1st and 2nd, and it's only lap 20 of 54, so they're on what is effectively now their final set of tyres to get through to the end. really, really got to treat them with total respect. And the minute that you slide the car, get it crossed up, you're in strife. You cannot afford to do that.
Had a chat to Murph about that start yesterday. He said it was just like they were being on ice. Here comes David Thexton, who's right at the rear of the field. So Murphy and SKAIFE now come up to some lap traffic effectively at the hairpin. What that'll do is bring Mark SKAIFE back into the picture. Thexton needs to get out of the way. Murphy shoots through, SKAIFE goes through cleanly. He said to me, Neil, when he tried to get things moving yesterday on the grid, it was just like sitting on ice.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was on the dirty, slippery side of the road. And he looked like he missed the jump a bit anyway, but it didn't go anywhere, that's for sure. More pressure on him now because Thexton cost him several car lengths there. On the back straight, Murphy was asking the marshals to wave the flags and he was flicking the lights, but he didn't get cleanly through at turn 6 and it pushed him out wide. Now SKAIFE's got that extra little incentive and he's closer again.
Enormous amount of responsibility for Greg Murphy this weekend. Just imagine just how busy he's been. Now SKAIFE up to the hairpin. Was there contact there?
Yes, there was, because Murph had it crossed up the whole way in there. The car slid all the way. And he's not happy about it.
They both went in very, very hard into there. And in the end...
And that's first blood to SKAIFE, because the thing that you can't afford to do is blow your cool right at the moment. Murph just has to go, okay, yeah, good on you, SKAIFE. I know you're there. Make your own arrangements, mate. And there it is, whack. Got it all crossed up, slid across the corner. And obviously, with your foot on the brake and crossed up, you're going to explode in a situation like that, but he has to try and keep his head down. Rusty.
Neil, John Panozzo from Team Brock, while all this has been going on, has ducked down to Team Kiwi and had a word to them and just said, look, we're going to try and run the gauntlet for a little while here. Can we get Craig Baird to get out the way, let Jason Bright get some breathing space, try and keep building on that lead so when he finally has to pit, maybe they're a chance of being in the mix. Baird has now moved over.
And speaking of moving over, Murphy on that occasion just decided to give a little bit of space to SKAIFE, but he crisscrosses him and tries to run side by side down through the left-hander. And is there contact again? It's very close between the two of them. SKAIFE holds the lead as they get to the final hill. Fantastic racing between these two, and that is how close they run down this straight.
It's not going to end either, Neil. They're going to drag this on all the way down to turn 1 and 2. Robbie Crawford on the line to Greg Murphy saying, settle down, mate. We're after championship points. The tyre barrier on their left. So Mark SKAIFE takes control over the king of Pukekohe up the back straight. On the race score, Bright, Morris, Richards and Whincup yet to pit. But this is an enthralling battle, and now Greg Murphy finds himself sandwiched in between 1 and 2 HRT.
SKAIFE didn't quite hit the apex there. He's very deep under brakes. Looks like he's got a little bit better drive than Murphy at the critical spot. So even there he was able to, despite the car being fractionally offline, he skipped away in the jump out of the hairpin.
So be careful.
Murph wasn't really knowing what to expect incoming. But as far as the try goes,
there's no need to duck. You'll be all right, trust me.
I'm not alone. Just go and ask the cameraman standing there. He said to me this morning he'd be much more comfortable if it was wet again, Greg Murphy. And after yesterday, why not?
Walking wounded here when you hear a radio message that says 30 laps to go. There are a lot of people struggling back in the 59s or worse now. Some cars are already over the 60-second lap time mark.
And only SKAIFE, Murphy, Kelly and Marcus Ambrose are the guys in the 57s. Or the guys who have been in the 57s for their fastest lap. Marcus is another 2, 4, 6, 8 positions back.
58.6 and 58.7 respectively for SKAIFE and Murphy. Ingel off. Why? Was it on his own, or was the assistance.
I think there might have been some assistance. Just want to know if he collected that
It's out of
barrier
the
to the
turn 5
right.
hairpin.
Ooh, damage to the
Second
front
hand.
right and the front rear. So you've got to assume that he's gone in there and gone tap, tap. This will tell us whether he did or he didn't.
Bradley.
Bradley's caught up in it, and there's the contact, there's the spin, there's the first tap, there's the second.
Let's see what happens here. Okay, so they're side by side. Was involved in it precisely the same thing 1,000 years ago with Larry Perkins there, where two cars wanted to be in the same spot on the exit, and it just doesn't work. Hard to work it out from that angle. But,
Yeah, we saw it, Russell. We just have to keep going, see what we find.
Oh, listen to it. You can hear all the rabble,
not well.
all the clutter, and the garbage. Still stuck in there. Russell Ingall, fourth in the championship picture on adjusted points.
Be curious to know what happened just a little bit earlier than that.
Check the right rear. I think it's on the flat. Okay, mate.
Russell just talking to Campbell Little. And now they're going to go for an inspection around the SBR car number 9 and car 21, Bradley Jones. With a faulty rear end is still trundling around there. Here is Jason Bargwanna with Stephen Ellery. So Ellery's got that position on Bargwanna within that last lap. That's for 6th position. Corrected. Throwing the pit stops. Good job by Stephen Ellery. Started the weekend. Started in 9th position after qualifying in 20th. Darryl, what's going on down there?
Yeah, the boys have put another set of wheels on this car, but the problem, Matty, is this front splitter here. It's got quite a decent split right up the centre of it and down the right-hand side. It's hanging in there now, but maybe as the speed builds and the downforce works, it may come off.
And then there were 3. So not a good weekend really for Russell Ingall, and he had a slim championship hope, and I haven't done the numbers, but I don't reckon there's much chance from here.
Pretty much not. SKAIFE, though, is certainly making sure that he's still in the picture, however slim. And here's Paul Radicic and Stephen Johnson. This is for position 4.
Consistent pace from SKAIFE and Murphy, still in the 8s, 8-7 for both of them on the last lap.
Check when that pit window closes, lap 38. So Jason Bright, Stephen Richards and Jamie Whincup on lap 30 are yet to go in. The rest of the field has.
Looking at the battle for 7th and 8th, and Radicic just fully committed to the major defence on the right-hand side of the road. They're coming up onto the back of Thexton at the hairpin.
Oh, if he didn't get him, it was very close. Stephen Johnson, DJR left scratching their heads yesterday. That thing was operating on 7 yesterday.
Have a think about your bars and Ellery's on your car now, Steve.
They got it fixed. They even had a little fire inside the engine bay there, but they managed to fix all that, work it all out. Now they've got it back to full fitness, so to speak.
These guys that we're just looking at there going across the ripple strip at 2 are in the mid-59s, so they're giving away about 3/4 of a second to the lead bunch, or the what will ultimately become the lead bunch once Bright, Richards and Whincup do their pit lane business. Here's the key men. Murph, win in the wet yesterday, car was sensational. SKAIFE climbed back up to 7th. Great pit stop from these guys, and clear air, fast laps from SKAIFE put them right back in the game for this race. And Kelly in a watching brief in 3rd position. Fairly equally spaced between 1st, 2nd and 3rd at the moment, in corrected terms.
And just light years between 3rd and 4th in corrected terms, because as Todd Kelly, who's 3rd, goes down the back straight. Paul Radicic, who's fourth, was only just taking on turn 1 on the main straight. As you mentioned, Neil, now 15 seconds difference between third and fourth place. Marcus Ambrose now finds himself with the teammate of another of his contenders in front, Rick Kelly.
Ambrose has got the benefit of the hole in the air being punched by the 15 car, but Rick is right up the inside, but he's almost going to be exposed here to be mispositioned if Marcus can round him up, but no, not quite. If you can hang on out there, and it's a dangerous place to be, you obviously have track position when you get to turn 6. Now, I've seen it done, but I've seen it end in tears plenty of times as well.
These guys
22 laps to go, Marcus. 22. Just be patient, mate. We're all right.
11th and 12th on the road at the moment. Corrected the 8th and 9th. One of the other simple equations for Marcus Ambrose as far as the championship picture goes for these last 2 rounds. Overall, they figure that if he can finish in the top 8, then he'll be okay to become Ford's first championship winner since 1997. Rusty, what do you got?
Matty, the Team Brock crew are transfixed at the moment on the timing monitor. They've also got a stopwatch, and they're looking at the gap between Jason Bright and Greg Murphy and trying to figure out when to pit. They're actually talking to Jason on the radio at the moment just to see whether he can make some more time. Is it worth pressing on? But it's just interesting. Obviously, with the pit stop trundling through pit lane alone will cost about 36 seconds. The stop around, say, 6 to 8 seconds. But you've obviously got to factor in there as well a bit of slow down time on the run into pit lane and a bit of speed up time on the way out. So around about 50 seconds, I guess. They need to figure out where Jason Bright is going to re-enter the mix.
Well, effectively, not anywhere particularly thrilling for him, I'd say. At the moment, the margin between Jason Bright and Stephen Richards is 15 seconds, another 5 back to Whincup. And then you get into the contenders, so he'll be, I'd say, somewhere in or about position 10 or worse when he comes back in by very rough dead reckoning.
Oh, there it goes for Stephen Johnson, a complete blowout. We said they had their mechanical problems, and it continues for DJR.
Rusty.
Guys, just a few moments ago he got on the radio. He thought it was a blown differential to begin with, and then he changed his opinion very quickly. Blown engine, and that is heartbreak for the Shell team. Exactly, Stephen needs a bit of luck on his side, he's telling the team, and unfortunately they had a small fire in the airbox during the morning warm-up yesterday and a brief misfire as well. This is not what Stephen Johnson was hoping for.
They just can't take a trick at the moment.
One of the issues that quite a few people have been talking about is just the amount of time that the engines are spending on the limiter down the back straight. And in recent years, it's crept up and up and up.
Well, Greg Murphy, in the meantime, has got himself around Mark SKAIFE and regained the race lead. SKAIFE may have been a victim of that Stephen Johnson blowout. Maybe Junior left something behind as he expired the engine, and maybe that cost Mark SKAIFE. Whatever, the result is this. Murphy now leads, SKAIFE is second, and Todd Kelly continues on the third spot.
Almost for sure, I'd say he's found himself either off the road or close to it, up at the hairpin where all that oil would be. There it is, you can see the oil line. SKAIFE traditionally takes a very square approach, and there's a huge oil trail, and I reckon he would have picked it up with the front left tyre and would have carted him wide. Ambrose in.
What's happening here? Marcus Ambrose in. It's not a compulsory, he's already done that one.
Well, I need an update, mate, where I am and who's for position, if there's any, please, when you get a chance.
59
okay,
through.
Mate. Just give me a lap or two.
Well, there's a big question mark over that move from Marcus Ambrose, and there's Paul Dumbrell deep in the ditch.
And He's going nowhere with that thing at the moment. It's buried.
I'm stuck in the sand at the sand trap.
Are we looking for a safety car? So there goes Mark Skaife. He went wide right on that line that you mentioned, Neil.
Yeah. Skaife drives very, very wide on his braking approach. Square cuts the corner, tries to minimise lateral load on the left rear on the way out. And he's been caught on it. He didn't see the oil. It's carted him wide. Murphy stuck through. Job done.
That's where we find Dumbrell. Well and truly buried. With nowhere to go, and we'll get a full course yellow.
Oh, he's been same deal on the oil. So Paul's not seen it.
Back to full racing conditions. The control line is crossed. Now we can get moving. Murphy and Skaife. There's Todd Kelly. Marcus Ambrose is out of the loop in terms of position. And remember, he needs vital championship points this weekend.
Well, it's been a very empty weekend for those guys in the Pertec car, really, hasn't it? They're just winding down towards the end of this championship, and the pressure's increasing because the gap is closing at the top of the points table.
Skaife has a peek up the inside, then goes back to his traditional line on the outside.
He had a huge shot at him then, and he had it maxed out under brakes, and it just got a little bit higher than he wanted to, and they got up towards the right-hander, and it was a brave move given to Tander off on the exit of 3.
Coming back onto the main straight, so that's down at Placemaker Corner, and
unusual play. Might be parked up on the ripple strip there. I'd say he's probably got it straddled across the curbing. Can't get it off.
Oh, there's David Thexton with damage to the front right. And there's Garth
Another safety
Tander.
car, I reckon, here with that car. That's a dangerous position for it to be. I was going to make the comment that very brave manoeuvre for Skaife to be so on the braking threshold down the end there, knowing that there's a bit of oil around, and he nearly came undone down there.
Back to the order. Back to close racing. Marcus Ambrose has 14 laps to work his way back up through the field.
I don't reckon there's going to be a lot of that going on.
24th position at the moment. Total, he's 72 points. The safety car will come out. So another interruption. That lap, a 58.5 for Greg Murphy. Skaife, a 58.6. Todd Kelly, 59 flat. Radicic, Ellery, and Richards. And look at this, flapping in the wind from car 21.
That'll be a mechanical black flag for that car. And Ingles' splitter is flapping wildly on the Caltex car as well. So your prediction's right. It's not going to come off because of the way that it's fixed to the side of the bodywork there, but it's going to flap dangerously unless it actually tears. Skaife to Murphy again. Oh, the rear brakes locked on car number 1, and he's giving it everything in these last couple of laps to throw the HRT Commodore at the back of the KMART entry. The gap has closed again.
Skaife, 3rd overall on the streets of Surfers Paradise. Desperately defending his series title. He worked so hard yesterday in the rain, they all did. We took a shot yesterday of Mark Skaife behind the wheel, and it was grimacing. Pushing that Holden Racing team, VY, through the field, up to 7th. He got a blistering start here in the first couple of laps, and courtesy of a sweet change of tyres in pit lane, came out and now finds himself in position 2.
Murph's hanging on okay, isn't he? He's got the blowtorch on him at the moment, but he's definitely hanging in there. Whatever they did to Ambrose's car, if they made a rear roll centre adjustment, and with this other set of tyres, he's been able to hang in there pace-wise in this last segment of the race. But remember, this is a false dawn. He's not where he appears to be. He's down in 23rd position. Oh, look at this. Ellery crossed up at 1. I heard the crowd cheer before, but I didn't know why.
Oh, Stephen Richards managed to avoid the trouble right in front of him. That could have been a big T-boning for Stephen Ellery. Rick Kelly, I think, had to go off as well. Simon Wills, Stephen Richards, Glenn Seaton, John Bow, all caught up in this little battle group. And Paul Wheels there as well. So too is Craig Lowndes. And that's for position 7 down.
Well,
Wills is 7th at the moment. Sorry, Rusty.
You're right, Matty. Kim Jones is with us in pit lane. The Avesco officials just cast their eye over the car. It leaves pit lane, and you are pretty fired up about this one.
Yeah, this is the most ridiculous decision I've heard in my whole life. I understand there's safety issues. We received a meatball flag for something hanging off the back of the car. Now, that part of the car fell off. But in their wisdom, the officials still say, because they issued the meatball flag, we had to bring the car in, as you saw, to remove the dangling piece of bumper bar, which was already gone. So I don't know what we're meant to do. All it's done is destroyed our race once again. Thank you, guys.
Might want to break out that wallet, Kim, because I don't know that they enjoy those kind of messages. I think he might have a little bit of oil pressure right at the moment. I'm not sure. But not a good scenario. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, 1.6 seconds is the margin between Greg Murphy and Mark SKAIFE. And as Rob Crawford said before, I think he has got just a little bit of pace on Mark SKAIFE. And despite his own dire predictions after the warm-up that he maybe can't get the rear tyres to perform like he wants to, Murphy could be okay here.
Stephen Richards, and we heard Kim Jones earlier talk about the safety car and car number 11 didn't benefit. What happened? Whatever, he's in position 7 at the moment. Radicic in front of him. Team Better Electrical continue to tick a few more boxes as the second half of the season kicks in. Sort of all turned around at Sandown, which coincidentally was when Triple Eight came on board. And a dive on the inside from Jason Bright, who gets Todd Kelly.
That's for position. Bright's had pretty good pace, and he benefited from the way in which the safety car shuffled in and around, looking for whoever was meant to be leading. And this is a great job from Greg Murphy to take yet another win here.
Absolutely outstanding from Greg Murphy, and yet again he brings Pukekohe to its feet. Two out of two. Eric Pender's been a very happy man lately. And so he should, because his #1 man, Greg Murphy, continues to deliver in car 51. SKAIFE pulls up alongside and says, good job. And Murphy responds with a thumbs up as well. That was good, hard racing from these two. Once Mark SKAIFE got himself in position, he let rip. Murphy first, SKAIFE second, Bright third. We just saw Marcus Ambrose, and I need to scan down the list to find him. He'll be below 20th position. In fact, make a 23rd position. So in total, Marcus Ambrose only has 74 points for the weekend. Greg Murphy and Mark SKAIFE, his two championship rivals, now have 128 and 114 respectively. The race 2 results show you just how Holden loves this track. Murphy, SKAIFE, Bright and Kelly make up top 4. Another good solid run from Jason Bargwanna. Then it was Richards, Radicic, Wills, Seaton, Bow make up our top 10. Paul Wheel, Craig Lowndes, Rick Kelly there in 13th. Canto, Bernard and Morris go down to 16th. Another disastrous day for Gary Rogers Motorsport. Jamie Whincup in 17th. His teammate didn't make it to the end. Bradley Jones and the Aussie Mail Racing team had problems of their own. Russell Ingall also had dramas. David Thexton was involved in quite a few of them. Garth Tander and Stephen Johnson didn't make it. It doesn't matter how many times this guy wins here, he still gets the same buzz out of it. Home crowd support. They'll go up, everybody. Whatever it is up there, Greg Murphy wants more of it.